The reason some people speak fluently while others struggle isn't intelligence, it's daily practice. If someone waits until they feel ready to speak, they'll wait forever. The real game changer? Making English part of daily life, like brushing your teeth or drinking coffee. It's not about having time, it's about making time. Think about this. How do kids learn to speak? They don't memorize grammar rules, they just absorb and use the language every day. And that's exactly what fluent English speakers do. They don't just study English, they live it. They talk to themselves, watch videos, listen to songs, and find ways to practice without overthinking. The moment English becomes a habit, fluency follows automatically. So, if someone struggles to speak, it's not because they can't, it's because they haven't built the right habits yet. But that changes now. This video will show exactly how to turn English into a daily habit, making fluency not just possible, but inevitable. Ready? Let's go! Listening is key. Listening is the foundation of learning English. The more someone listens, the more they absorb natural pronunciation, rhythm, and vocabulary. Think about how kids learn their first language. They don't start by reading or writing, they listen first. The same applies here. By regularly listening to English stories, songs, and news, learners develop an ear for the language, making it easier to understand conversations. It's like tuning into a radio station. At first, the signal is weak, but over time, the clarity improves. The key is consistency. Someone who listens to English every day, even passively, will notice a big difference. Imagine listening to an audiobook on the way to work or playing English podcasts while cooking. These small habits add up. The brain starts recognizing patterns, picking up phrases, and even predicting what comes next in a sentence. And here's a secret, it doesn't have to be boring. Choose topics that actually interest you. If you love mysteries, listen to detective stories. If you enjoy music, pay attention to the lyrics of your favorite English songs. Now, let's take this a step further, active listening. Instead of just letting words flow in and out, try to engage. Repeat phrases, mimic accents, and pause to repeat sentences. Ever noticed how actors train by copying real-life conversations? The same method works for language learners. Listening isn't just about understanding, it's about preparing the brain for speaking naturally. And speaking of speaking, that's exactly what comes next. Speak daily without fear. Most people wait until they feel ready to speak English. But here's the truth, that day never comes unless they start now. Speaking isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Imagine a baby learning to talk. Do they worry about grammar? No. They try, make mistakes, and improve over time. The same goes for English. Speaking daily, even with mistakes, builds fluency. The fear of sounding wrong holds people back, but the only way to get better is to embrace the mistakes and keep talking. A simple way to start is by thinking in English. Instead of translating in your head, describe your surroundings in English. While cooking, say, "I'm chopping vegetables." Walking outside? "The weather is nice today." This small habit makes a huge difference. Another trick is talking to yourself. It sounds funny, but it works. Narrate your day, practice answering common questions, or even record yourself speaking. Over time, words will flow more naturally, and confidence will grow. Of course, the best way to improve is through real conversations. Find a study partner, join online communities, or even talk to AI chatbots if no one is around. The point is to speak every day, no matter what. Fluency isn't built in silence, it's built in action. So, the question isn't if someone should practice speaking daily, it's how they will start today. And when it comes to improving vocabulary, reading plays a crucial role. Read English books. Reading in English isn't just about understanding words, it's about thinking in English. Books expose learners to sentence structures, new vocabulary, and different writing styles. But here's the trick: start with the right books. Jumping into a novel meant for native speakers can be overwhelming. Instead, begin with graded readers, short stories, or even children's books. These simplify complex ideas while keeping the learning process enjoyable. Think of it as a workout: start light and increase the difficulty over time. Reading isn't just about seeing words, it's about engaging with them. Instead of passively scanning a page, learners should highlight new words, guess their meanings, and then check a dictionary. Rereading sentences out loud also strengthens pronunciation and fluency. Want to take it further? Keep a vocabulary journal, write down useful words, and try using them in daily conversations. The more exposure a learner has, the more natural the words will feel. And reading doesn't have to be boring. If someone loves mysteries, try an Agatha Christie novel. Into self-improvement? Dale Carnegie's books are great for learning English and life lessons at the same time. The key is to enjoy the process, because when reading is fun, learning happens effortlessly. And speaking of writing, that's the next powerful tool for mastering English. Write to reinforce learning. Writing in English isn't just about good grammar, it's about organizing thoughts in English. Many learners struggle to form sentences because they never practice writing. But here's a fact: the more they write, the clearer their thinking becomes. A great place to start is with a daily journal. It doesn't have to be long, just a few sentences about the day. Something as simple as "Today was great. I studied English and learned 5 new words" is already progress. Writing also solidifies vocabulary. When learners write, they force themselves to recall words and structures, making them stick. A practical way to improve is rewriting sentences in different ways. For example, instead of saying "I like English," try "I enjoy learning English" or "English is fascinating to me." This expands expression and fluency. Another technique? Writing emails or messages in English, even if it's just a short note to a friend or an online comment. And for those who want a challenge, storytelling is a game changer. Writing short stories forces learners to think creatively in English while naturally applying grammar and vocabulary. Even rewriting a favorite childhood story in their own words can be a fun exercise. The more someone writes, the better they get, not just in English but in thinking clearly and expressing themselves effectively. And since good writing comes from exposure to the language, watching English videos is the next best step. Watch English videos. Watching English videos is like bringing the language to life. It's one thing to read or listen, but seeing words in action, through facial expressions, gestures, and context, makes learning more natural. Movies, TV shows, and even YouTube videos improve comprehension and pronunciation effortlessly. The trick is to choose engaging content. A learner who loves comedy should watch sitcoms like Friends or The Office. Prefer action? Try movies with clear dialogue like superhero films. But watching passively isn't enough. Active watching is where the magic happens. Learners should use subtitles wisely, first in English, then without them. This forces the brain to connect sounds with words. Another great technique is shadowing, pausing after a sentence and repeating it exactly as it was said. This helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and even confidence. Want an extra boost? Mimic actors. Copying their tone and expressions can turn anyone into a natural-sounding speaker. And don't forget the power of repetition. Watching the same scene multiple times builds familiarity, making comprehension smoother. Even watching children's shows like Peppa Pig or Bluey is great for beginners. They're designed for language learning. The goal isn't just to watch, but to interact with the language. And for those who love games, that's another way to make learning even more fun. Learn through games. Who said studying English has to be boring? Games make learning fun and effective. The best part? The brain absorbs information faster when it's entertained. Word games like Scrabble, Boggle, or Wordle challenge vocabulary in a playful way. Mobile apps like Duolingo, Memrise, and Quizlet turn studying into a habit. Even classic games like crossword puzzles help reinforce spelling and word recognition without feeling like traditional studying. And then there's video gaming. Many learners unknowingly improve their English by playing multiplayer games. Games like Minecraft, The Sims, or story-based RPGs are full of English dialogues and interactions. Playing with English-speaking friends or even changing the game's language settings is a great way to pick up new words naturally. Plus, when learners have fun, they stay engaged, and that's the secret to long-term success. For those who love challenges, quizzes and trivia games are great for testing knowledge. Watching game shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or Jeopardy! Also builds listening skills while expanding vocabulary. The key is to make learning feel like play, not work. And speaking of motivation, setting small, achievable goals is the next step to staying on track. Set achievable goals. Big goals can feel overwhelming, but small daily goals create real progress. Imagine someone saying, "I'll be fluent in a year." That's great, but where do they start? Instead, breaking it down into tiny wins makes success inevitable. A good example: learning 5 new words a day. That's 150 words in a month. Another simple goal is practicing English for 15 minutes daily, whether through reading, writing, speaking, or listening. The trick is tracking progress. Keeping a notebook with new words, recording short speaking exercises, or even checking off study sessions boosts motivation. Think of it like going to the gym. Results come from consistency, not intensity. A person who studies a little every day will see more improvement than someone who crams once a week. And here's a powerful mindset shift: Celebrate small wins. If someone has their first English conversation, even if it's simple, that's a success. If they watch a full movie in English, that's progress. Every step counts, and staying positive is what keeps learners moving forward. And when challenges come up, motivation is what keeps everything on track. Stay positive and motivated. Learning English isn't just about words and grammar, it's about mindset. The biggest enemy isn't difficulty, it's self-doubt. Many learners think, I'll never be fluent or I make too many mistakes. But here's the truth, everyone struggles at first. The key is to keep pushing forward, even when progress feels slow. Just like exercise, the results may not show immediately, but with consistency, they become undeniable. One great way to stay motivated is by finding personal reasons to learn. Maybe someone wants to travel, get a better job, or connect with international friends. Keeping that reason in mind turns studying into a passion rather than a chore. Another tip? Surround yourself with English, watch inspiring speeches, listen to motivational podcasts, or follow successful language learners. Positive reinforcement keeps energy high. And most importantly, don't be afraid of mistakes. Every mistake is proof of progress. No one becomes fluent overnight, and no one speaks perfectly all the time. Even native speakers say and forget words. The goal isn't perfection, it's improvement. And learning from mistakes is exactly what leads to real success. Accept mistakes and learn. Mistakes aren't failures, they're proof that someone is learning. The biggest mistake is avoiding mistakes. Think about it. If a child refused to speak until they were perfect, they would never talk. The same applies to English. Every mistake is a step toward fluency. The goal isn't to avoid errors but to learn from them and keep going. One way to overcome the fear of mistakes is by practicing in a safe environment. Talking with patient friends, joining online groups, or even speaking alone helps build confidence. Another great technique? Laughing at mistakes. Instead of feeling embarrassed, learners should see them as funny learning moments. At the end of the day, fluency isn't about speaking without mistakes, it's about speaking without fear. And that's why enjoying the journey is the final and most important step. Enjoy the journey. Learning English isn't a race, it's an adventure. The biggest mistake learners make is treating it like a boring school subject rather than a skill to enjoy. When someone sees English as a fun, exciting tool rather than a challenge, everything changes. Think of it like learning a musical instrument. The more you play, the better you get, and the process itself is part of the joy. English is meant to be lived, not just studied. A great way to make learning enjoyable is by personalizing the process. Love cooking? Follow English recipes and watch food blogs. Into sports? Watch games with English commentary. Enjoy music? Dive into the lyrics and sing along. When English is connected to personal interests, it no longer feels like studying, it becomes a lifestyle. And the more natural it feels, the faster fluency comes. The key is to stay curious and keep experimenting. Try new learning methods, mix up activities, and challenge yourself. English should never feel like a chore. Every word learned, every sentence understood, and every conversation had as a win. The real secret to fluency? Have fun, keep going, and never stop learning. Fluency isn't a mystery, it's a choice. Every person who speaks English fluently started exactly where you are now. The difference? They took action. They made English a habit, embraced mistakes, and found ways to enjoy the process. Now, the question is, will you do the same? Will you start speaking daily, listening actively, reading, writing, and making English part of your life? Or will you keep waiting for the perfect moment that never comes? The best way to see results? Apply what you learned today. Pick one tip from this video and start using it right now. Speak out loud. Write a short paragraph. Watch a video and mimic the pronunciation. Small steps lead to big changes, but only if you take them. So, which habit will you start today? Let me know in the comments. And if you're serious about improving your English, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep learning. New videos will help you stay on track and improve even faster. And before you go, watch the last video I posted. It's the perfect next step on your journey to fluency. See you there.